Well, how would you like to save hundreds, possibly thousands on your insurance? Well, listen up, because this morning we have a huge announcement.
I am listening up, Lisa. Today is joining forces with the FiftyUp Club to help find you a better deal on your insurance. It's a big hello to Christopher Zinn from the FiftyUp Club. He's here with all the details. Big round of applause for Christopher. He's saving people money today.
That's
nice to see you.
Very
Not
worthy
yet,
cause.
but you will.
Hopefully give you the information, the actions you can take so you are going to get a better deal with insurance, because that's one thing that people get really fed up about.
Tell us about the campaign then.
Look, it's really to get 20,000 people together over the next 4 weeks with your help, who essentially just throwing their hat in the ring saying we want a better deal with our home and contents or comprehensive motor vehicle insurance. Those are two things that are really essential. There's problems. Essentially, we argue that the over 50s being very loyal, sometimes, particularly with motor vehicles, should pay lower premiums, but because they're rusted on to providers, they do direct debit, they do not benefit from the lower premiums which they really deserve. So this is what it's about. It's about driving competition in the insurance market.
So insurance companies, how do they generally treat the over 50s?
Well, look, I mean, there are specific ones for older people. I think there's no doubt that people feel that they are discriminated against by insurance, particularly in some areas like travel and whatever. Yeah. In fact, there is a carve-out in the Age Discrimination Act for insurance companies, as long as they have the statistical data to demonstrate it. But as I've said, particularly for motor vehicle, you should actually, after the age of 35 and onwards, really up until the 80s, you should be paying the lowest premium. But that's
you're not driving hotted-up cars, you've probably got a garage.
Well,
your risk is generally lower, but that is not always translated. Many people will tell you that actually every year it goes up. And the one thing, and there was a survey of the industry recently, the one thing they fear more than new technologies and everything else is competition. And that's what we can help bring by empowering consumers and viewers who can join the campaign and whatever. Awareness, but really, you know, a bit of action on our behalf can make a lot of difference in the market.
So it's all about people power. How many people do you need to sign up for this to work?
Well, look, you know, our aim is 20,000 over the next 4 weeks. And you just go to the FiftyUpClub.com.au site. As I say, there's no cost, there's no obligation. You just put your email in and we'll actually give you some information about how you can get a deal more generally. At the end of those 4 weeks, then we will negotiate with insurance companies, see what sort of sugar they're prepared to put on the table in terms of people who are in the group, who are over 50, and then you can choose. But as we've often said, you know, go to your insurer, say you're part of the group. I mean, I just spoke to one of your floor managers. She says every year, as a result of these campaigns, she phones up and asks for $100 off her insurance, sometimes gets even more. The more you interact, the less they can take you for granted, the better off you will do.
She is over 50, though. In terms of the age... I've just got something thrown at me. Do you have to be over 50, or can people...
Well, look, the FiftyUp Club is for over 50s, and they're 1/3 of Australians. We do not check your birth certificate, though. Okay. So I know that it's worth being in, and some people have got in. With the insurance companies, they do demand a greater proof of identification. But look, there's no reason why you can't join up and just benefit from the sort of news that, well, look, we'll be sharing over the next 4 weeks and the tips.
So if you can get that many people signed up, what sort of savings can they expect?
Look, I'm very wary of predicting what those will be, because we don't know, because these are always a bit experimental. But I know that already with insurance you can save hundreds of dollars. I mean, I did that with my car insurance. I had an L-plate driver come on. I thought I'll have to pay more. I actually checked. I ended up paying about $500 less.
Really?
And that was to include the L-plate driver. So, I mean,
that's amazing.
It's because you know, it's what you drive, where you live, your experience. They all have different ways.
The colour of your car.
Well,
there's a whole lot of stuff.
Exactly. So there's lots of variables. It's hard to compare. But we find if you get people doing things in a group, it can spur them to a little bit more action, because we make it a bit easier.
It terrifies.
Perfect.
Interesting. That's
all right.
big.
Thank you very much, mate. Lovely to see you. And Chris will be back a little bit later on today, extra, with an update on how many of you have joined up so far. It needs to hit that 20,000 mark.
Make a big difference.